Thank you very much for watching Master Jason's 风水 channel。那我们呢，在新加坡的这个政治的这个political scene 里面呢，有一个政治人物呢，常常都是给人家一个印象，就是说蛮是那种极端的他的言语或者行为都是蛮极端的。In terms of the political scenes in Singapore。There is one politician that has been known for his rather extreme approach in terms of politics. That is Dr. Chee Soon Juan. In fact, if we look at his history, he is actually the politician that has been jailed the most number of times. 那在我们就是看到呢，我们这位政治人物呢，叫做 Dr. Chee Soon Juan 呢。他在他的政治生涯当中呢，其实能够是说他在新加坡是最多次坐牢的一位政治人物哈。那我们呢今天呢会用一个八字的角度了哈，来了解一下 Dr. Chee Soon Juan 为什么呢会遇到一个那么的一个起伏很大的一个人生，而且呢。为什么呢？遇到那么多的官非还有呢坐牢的情况这个其实坦白的说，在政治的那种争斗当中一个政治家有坐牢的情况，其实常常都有这种，我们都常常都有这种危险因为呢政治的斗争当中，其实呢都会很多时候嘛，有时候被一些。会遇到一些 persecution 可是到最后呢，到最后嘛，其实我们八字里面呢，还是说能够看得到呢，一个人会不会遇到这种官非的情况，或者一些是非的问题官非是非都是我们人生当中最怕遇到的问题。那我今天就想趁这个机会跟大家讲解一下，我们是怎样去判断一个人呢会不会坐牢或者遇到一些法律上的问题谢谢 Yvonne 的观看。So today's topic will actually use Dr. Chee Soon Juan's personal history as a politician to help you understand how we can determine whether someone will experience a life of persecution, legal problems, or even being imprisoned. He has actually been in prison various times if we are to look at his history. The first time he was in prison was in the year 1999, all right, 1999, whereby Dr. Chee was sentenced to 7 days in prison for giving an unlicensed public speech. In December 1998, he refused to pay the imposed fine, opting for imprisonment instead of a rather extreme approach. And 3 more incidences. One is in 2002, whereby he received a 5-week prison sentence after organizing a May Day rally to promote workers' rights, obtaining the necessary without obtaining the necessary permit. During his imprisonment, reports indicated that he endured poor conditions, leading to health issues such as insomnia, nausea, and weight loss. That's why he's so thin now, I think. Right. In 2006, Dr. Chee was arrested and jailed for speaking publicly without a permit again during the 2006 general election campaign. He chose imprisonment again over paying a fine, leading to a 5-week detention, right? Another very extreme approach, I believe. And the last imprisonment of Dr. Chee Soon Juan in 2008. On August 9, 2008, Dr. Chee and several others participated in an assembly to publicize the I don't know how to pronounce this, Bola Tahan campaign without a permit. I think it's some kind of Malay language. Tapulay Tahan. Okay, all right. Now I get it. Is the Malay language that calls Tapulay Tahan means you can no longer tolerate. So once again, without a permit, he was fined $1,000. Once again, he refused to pay the fine and faced imprisonment against. So I will say, he could have escaped imprisonment, but he actually chose to, not to pay the fine and rather he wanted to go to the jail instead. So let's take a look at his photo first in case, people who are outside of Singapore is not familiar with who is Dr. Chee Soon Juan. So let me share his photo. I believe most Singaporeans are familiar with how he looks. Yeah, this is according to Wikipedia, this is his photo. So of course, the rest of the background history of Dr. Chee Soon Juan, you guys can check it out, in Wikipedia or our website. So he was born in the year 1990. Oh, sorry, no, that is the same office in 1993, but his year of birth, we can see clearly that his year of birth is 1962 in the month of July 20th. So let me quickly plot his Bazi chart. Indeed, I has already plotted it in my last video talking about the Bazi perspective on the Singapore general election. So I found this character or this politician should be one that is very interesting. So I decided to do a case study on him. His Bazi chart is one that is having a Zhi as his day master, sitting on 2 Wei, and of course Wei is a kind of dry earth. And there's a Ding fire beside him at the month heavenly stamps. The year of birth is a tiger year, right? Ren is Ren is a water, kind of like a heavenly stamp. Ding Ren actually form a wood combination formation. So this is his chart. 我们用八字再说多一次哦，它是一个己土的一个日元，然后呢坐在2个纬土上面，它的年支有一个寅木，然后呢。年份的天干是一个壬水，月份的天干有丁所以丁壬和化木所以嘛，他的八字是非常的燥热的一个八字It's a very hot chart. Thank you very much for watching, baby girl. And a good evening. 所以嘛，我们从八字的角度呢，当然我可能再给他一个比较夸张的时间可能就比较更加能够让我们看得到他的为什么呢会。那么多的人生，那么多的坐牢的情况出现或者就给他一个时间，也是尾时吧，可能也是给他尾时吧。反正他的八字就是那么的极端对不对？我就给他一个尾时那我们能够看到呢，一个命格太燥热的时候呢，通常会发生一件事情就是那个人的脾气会比较。intolerant 或者比较暴躁的，或者呢，他们是比较不很容易有一种 rebellious 的一个 nature 的那当然呢，我们看一下 Dr. Chee Soon Juan，他其实蛮有能不能够说是一个骨气，还是说他只是真的要一个反抗的一个做一个反抗的一个行为，或者 is really to send a political message that he couldn't be defeated。Even if you want to give him a fine over his so-called illegal activities, well, he chose to go into imprisonment. 这种就是呢，我们八字里面通常这种呢非常燥热的八字会有的一种性格我们叫做这种人呢不容易妥协，他们不容易妥协，而且呢会很极端，因为他的八字都是一个极端的八字非常燥热的一个土的一个八字那尾里面呢是没有金的只有这个火的这个元素了寅里面也是一个我们叫做有甲丙木也是非常干燥所以地支里面完全没有水，所以他一辈子嘛其实不会富有这种命格很难富有，因为呢他 OK 天干有一个壬水，可是背合这个壬水是他的财富来的这个真印是他的财富来，然后跟这个丁火相合所以他一辈子很难有钱他一辈子很难很富有，可是会不会有人支持他呢？会的，尤其是呢有些人觉得是说他的人是一个我们叫做一个 icon 可能是说 democratic icon. I don't know whether it is the appropriate term for him, but he is someone so-called fighting for democracy in Singapore. But right?Fighting for democracy is one thing, but you don't have to disobey the law to fight for democracy, right? But he is such a person who will go to the extent of challenging the authority, breaking laws, just to bring about bring across a political message. Yeah, so that is his kind of chart. 那我们同时呢也可以看到呢一样事情嘛就是呢他的壬水呢 because his well element which is represented by the 壬 water is being combined with this thing to form a wood element which is not his auspicious element because wood itself will drain water. Well, when he's being drained means, right, he will continue to be unable to achieve extremely great wealth in his life. So if you look at his life, he's not a rich guy staying in kind of like rather not a very big apartment with his family members. So we can see that he's definitely not very well-to-do. So this is something that can be observed from his chart also. And why is it that he has to go into jail for so many times, right? One in 1999. Let's look at the year 199 first. In the year 1999, this is exactly when he has entered into this what we call the Mu Yin. If you are able to look at his decade trend, he or the year, right? 1999, right? That is his year of entering into the first time entering into the prison. It is actually of the 子二. 子二 is exactly his companion factors, which is negative for him. 我们在八字里面呢，要记得呢，就是说，如果你是身旺的话嘛，你见到比肩呢，其实是一个不好的事情我用一个就是写出来给这些比较初学者呢，学八字的初学者比较能够了解我们八字上的一些理论当你是一个身旺的八字的时候呢，你是不可以见到比肩的，因为比肩它会怎么样，让你的那个日元更加的旺而且你日元旺的时候我们有这个叫做日主嘛，日主就是我们的 day master, right? When we analyze a 八字 chart, if yours is a strong day master, 就是个身旺的一个日主你不可以见到比肩。什么是比肩呢？好像它是一个己土的一个日元然后呢，在2019年嘛，就是己卯这个己卯的流年对不对？我把那个 banner 拿下来先，就是一个己卯的流年。这个子同时它见到跟它的日元一样的元素呢这个就是我们的比肩我们的比肩 ，it is called like a companion factor or friend factor or something like that. It means that he could have issues caused by caused by his peers or face a persecution that will cause him financial problems. Because in terms of water element, it is his favorable elements. 它是需要水的，它的八字是需要水的嘛。水就是它的使用神因为能够帮他调候。我们常常说呢，八字有几样东西很重要，调候然后呢，病药就是说呢，你的病里面，你的病可能是说命里面土太过厚土太过厚的时候，你就需要把那个土的能量减低那你才会有一个好的发展所以嘛，这个我们能够看到嘛，2009年对不起，2019年这个己土是克水的然后这个卯木也是泄水这个叫做泄因为水是生木的嘛，这个是卯木如果对八字比较初学的那种朋友们这个是卯木所以我们能够见到就是它就是那个使用神被克的非常严重被克的非常严重，所以他就坐牢了然后其实他是不需要坐牢的可是嘛，他就是自己有一个很有主见的一个人He is someone who is very extreme in his own thinking. He could have just paid a fine of how much I think it's just a small amount, but for the deeper details, you guys can check online. I believe it's just a small amount, but he refused to pay. So 比肩也是代表一个人太过主观。如果流年出现比肩这个元素嘛就是说我们刚刚看得到嘛，它是己土它是己土它的日元是己土 然后呢，他是一个声望的基土嘛，又见到比肩哈，就是代表呢，他会非常非常在意自己的想法，然后呢，自己的想法呢会让他自己犯到惯非啊这种问题哦，所以嘛，其实是不好的一种情况了啊。当然是说，你为什么要那么固执呢？可是土旺的人通常都很固执啊，我告诉你啊，people of the earth element that has a very strong energy, they are usually extremely stubborn, and usually they can be harmed by their own thinking and behavior. Their own thoughts and behaviors will cause them to get stuck in life. So in 1999, right, we see that he actually was sentenced, 7 days. Perhaps you just check online, right, and give you that news article. Chee Soon Juan in prison in 1999. Perhaps we can find that news article. Or perhaps we can just go to Wikipedia. So you guys can check all this info online also. I will not go deep into the details because my aim is really to teach you Bazi and to understand how you can use Bazi analysis to kind of understand different people's character, personality, and come to a better way of relating to different people or handling your own life. Actually, you guys can do a Google check, yeah, simply do a Google check. So that is really in 1999, yeah. And you guys now have a better idea of why, right? His first imprisonment was in the year 1999. Okay. Of course, it's just a short term, 7 days kind of imprisonment, not very long term type, but it's still a kind of imprisonment caused by his own action. And he was actually giving a speech to a group of to a crowd. Crowd is also represented by the factor 比肩，所以就是因为他的一种我们叫做 counterparts 啊，让他坐牢了啊。我们再看一下他的八字啊，就是说2002年他也是有坐牢的情况哦。那2002年2002 there was another round of imprisonment, right, in the year 2002. Okay, 2002, he received a 5-week prison sentence. This one is quite a long one, yeah, 5 week. So it happens in the year 2002. And if you observe, it is exactly whereby he is living a 5-year period. 我们叫做男怕教女怕拖。很多时候呢，男生啊，在这个5年的那个运程呢，要转去下一个5年的时候，都会出问题。尤其是如果那个5年最后1年就是他的继承啊，这个是我们八字常常都看到的一个问题啊。所以你看到2002年也是一个无火旺的一个年份啊，对不对？然后人跟他命格里面的什么合？就跟那个丁合啊，对不对啊？我们看一下，它有一个丁火在它的月份的天干嘛啊，人跟丁合化木，然后呢，这个午火是我会画一个火局，或者我写出来给大家看。So I will try to explain it with visual. And if you are familiar with Bazi, you will know that in the year 2002. So wait for the iPad. Okay, I'm sorry. That's okay. So in the year 2002, it was a year of Ding. It's the year of Ren Wu. Looking back at his own birth chart, right? Perhaps I will write it down on the right so that you guys can remember how his chart is like. This is his birth chart. Of course, we don't have his time of birth. So I will circle the day master. In the year 2002, we can see that first of all, Ren water is being paired with Ding to form wood. This is a kind of Bazi relationship. If you are interested in Bazi learning, you can Google and find all this information online. And other thing that has happened, Wu, here this Wu, is being paired with 引 to form a fire combination formation， 我们叫做火局啦，半火局。然后呢，同时 at the same time simultaneously， Wu is pairing with Wei to form another fire combination formation. This is the directional fire combination formation called the Feng 局我们叫做方局，这个叫做和一个半火局所以同时呢，它的天干地支都有生旺火的这个能量啊，对不对？天干这个丁壬合化木嘛这个会变成木，然后这个木呢也会生旺这个火局啊，地支全部都是火局耶。当那个地支全部都是火局的时候呢，就是它会触发官非的一个时间，所以2002年就是一个不好的年份。That's the reason why, right? 2002 is a negative year for Dr. Chee Soon Juan, and we can understand it. The reason from a Bazi perspective, there was actually a very strong fire combination at the earth branches, and also the heavily stem sea wood element resulted from the Ding and Ren combination. So this will fuel fire, which is his inauspicious element. He is already someone who has too much fire in his chart. So that year 2002, he received a 5-week prison sentence after organizing a May Day rally to promote workers' rights without obtaining the necessary permits. During his imprisonment, reports indicated that he endured poor conditions leading to health issues such as insomnia and weight loss. Okay, so really, you guys, right, if you want to check whether you will face this kind of political, not really political, if you are not a politician, you're just a normal person, you want to check whether you will face legal issues, this is a way that you can check, right? Sometimes when there's a kind of extreme imbalance in your chart, 当你八字非常不平衡的时候呢，你就通常会有这种官非跟是非的问题啊。OK， 好了，所以呢，下一年他坐牢的是在2006年。So I will read the news for you. In the year 2006, he once again was in prison. Dr. Chee was arrested and jailed for speaking publicly without a permit during the 2006 general election campaign again. He chose imprisonment again over paying a fine, leading to a 5-week detention. So he could have actually, just pay the fine, and go home, but he chose imprisonment once again. Is a repeated theme in his life due to his own extreme kind of thinking or temperament. So sometimes we bring problems onto ourselves, due to our own way of behavior, of our emotions or decision making. 所以我常常都说一句话嘛，我们转运一定要先转心，你不要转你的心态呢，你永远也不会走运的。我们为什么要算命？就是要知道自己用什么的心态去活着，做什么的选择，才会能够趋吉避凶啊。就是那么简单而已，可是很多人都不了解这个道理啊。我们八字其实来来去去就讲一个中庸之道。什么叫做中庸之道 ？We take the middle path. That's the reason why 八字 the day master is always a factor that needed to be balanced, because that is you. If you have a balanced mindset, have a balanced emotion, or your behaviors are not too extreme, that is the way, the path towards a more stable, peaceful, and successful life. 中庸之道the middle path, that is the core philosophy of Bazi also. If you look at the Bazi, the logo, they always have this shape of two energy in the form of circular movement. Yeah, of course, this is black. I can't. Okay, I will try my best to fill this up with all black, but you guys get what I mean. Yeah, this is the logo of the Taoist logo. So it is actually a sign of balance. And that is exactly, let's say if Dr. Chee Soon Juan is a more balanced person, would he be able to escape all these jail terms? Of course he would. He could just pay a fine or he could just obey the law. How difficult it is to get a permit? I don't think it's that difficult, right? You just go and apply, that's all. Why must you, challenge the law to promote your democratic value? Nothing wrong with, promoting your democratic beliefs or ideology. I'm totally for it. I believe that everyone should have a choice or a say in the running of a country through a vote. But to be honest, ultimately, you vote for the person. But the rest of the 5 years or 4 years, there's nothing much you can do. So democracy is a good ideal, but practically speaking, is it good for a country? Every country has different background, have different demographics, have different belief system. Different society have different culture and different, kind of like their tradition also. So can you say that democracy is a system that should be applied to all nations? I don't think so. Of course, it is still a good thing. It is still a beautiful ideal. But whether it is something that is practical, something that will definitely bring about the best result for everyone, I have no comments on that because I'm not trained in politics. But what I'm trying to say is that, right, in terms of Bazi, you must really learn this thing called the middle path. Taking things to, taking things in life with balance. And that is actually a very good way to achieve success, okay? So receive a comments. Baby girl said that on the lighter side, maybe he likes the service of detention facility. Okay. Such a tough guy chose the difficult journey in life. Yes, people who have a strong day master, usually their character is strong, sometimes too strong. Too strong to their detriment. Sometimes being too strong is not a good thing. Like in his case, I don't know what benefit will he derive by being in the prison. I don't see how enjoyable prison life can be. I really don't know. But in terms of Bazi reading, he definitely has a day master that is too strong. So let's focus on the last time that he was in prison. That was in the year 2008. Right, 2008. Okay, I will just make sure that, yeah, 2008, he was actually having this move. 2008 having once again this move, which is a bijie. Bijie is at the same time a companion or a friend factor that will cause his day master to be strong. So let's look at this here. And it was actually towards August. So 2008 or August 9, right? Let's take a look at this year. We know that Wu Earth itself, 2008, which is a Wu Earth year. And the month of August, if we are to look exactly at the month of August, yeah. So it is actually okay. It is a month of, all right. It is a month of this concern. It is also clashing with his Yin Wood year of branch. I don't know how do I remove this. Okay, I removed that. So we can see, right? Okay, perhaps I will draw it out and okay, 2008, whereby he entered into this Mu year, right? And subsequently, he also entered into prison. Once again, we can see very clearly another Earth year. So whenever he experiences kind of year development, he will have some issues 就是说他每次见到土旺的那种年份呢，都会出现问题，都会出现问题，所以这个是他的命格啦，他是己土的日元身旺的嘛，2008年就是这个木土木土下面有一个子水，当然这个木嘛，它的能量是能够 suppress 压住这个止水的啊，所以这个止水的能量是低的啊，这个积水的能量是低的啊，所以木土对他来说也是会让他身亡啊，所以还是一模一样，因为自己的一个固执啊，我们叫做 very stubborn. He once again, broke the law on August the 9th, 2008. Dr. Chee and several others participated in an assembly to publicize the Tabolek Tahan campaign without a permit. He was fined $1,000 upon refusing to pay. He faced imprisonment. So additionally, there are various lawsuits and bankruptcy that he experienced in the past. One was also in 2002, which I has explained why, and another one in 2006. So all these legal issues that Dr. Chee Soon Juan faced has definitely drawn international attention and criticism. Organizations such as Human Rights Watch and Amnesty International have expressed concern over Singaporean government's use of restrictive laws to suppress dissent and curtail freedom of expression. While my take on this is that there are a lot of people who are believers of democracy also. What I'm trying to say is that you don't have to break the laws to promote democracy. You can do it in a legally permitted way. You don't really have to put yourself into prison for time just to make a point, just to send a political message that you are a believer in democracy. And that is actually not a very good image for people who believe in democracy. I personally believe in democracy, okay? I hope, right? Like I came from Hong Kong. I understand that how important it is that citizens are given human rights and also given a say in the running of the government. Otherwise, which country's government is having a stronghold over Hong Kong right now. I will not elaborate on that. I am a believer of democracy also. I hope to see that Singapore will continue to be a democratic society, but do it in a way that is legal, that is permitted under the, you don't have to break the law to send a political message, and it's not a healthy message. Like you are so-called the iconic figure of democratic movement in Singapore, but you have to break the law to send a message. To me, if I am someone who want to be a part of you, then it's like if I kind of like I subscribe to your belief, that means people who have to follow you as an example. I don't think it's a very good example. But do I admire your determination? Well, in a way, maybe I can't give you an exact absolute yes. Yeah, you have a belief that you hold tight, you hold strongly to, but I think it's a little bit too extreme. Yeah, I just think it is a little bit too extreme. Perhaps we will also look at his relationship with Chiam See Tong. His relationship with Chiam See Tong is a highly respected opposition leader in the past. For those who are born after the 20s, you may not know who am I talking about. But Chiam See Tong was actually in charge of Porong Pasir, if I'm not wrong, in the past. And I used to study in St. Andrews in Singapore, and is located in Porong Pasir. That's why I know Dr. Chee's about Mr. Chiam See Tong and this relationship with Dr. Chee. I heard that there was some issue, but I will just read it as what the news says. Dr. Chee Soon Juan and Mr. Chiam See Tong are prominent figures in Singapore's political landscape with a relationship marked by collaboration and subsequent discord. In 1992, Mr. Chiam, then Secretary General of the Singapore Democratic Party, SDP, invited Dr. Chee, a psychology lecturer at the National University of Singapore, to join the party. Dr. Chee's candidacy in the 1992 Marine Parade by-election garnered significant public interest. Although the SDP did not win the seat, following this, Dr. Chee was appointed as the party's assistant secretary general and became regarded as Mr. Chiam's successor. However, tensions within the SDP's Central Executive Committee soon emerged. In May 1993, disagreements peaked when Mr. Chiam attempted to censor Dr. Chee for initiating a hunger strike without the CEC's approval. The CEC's refusal to support this censure led Mr. Chiam to resign as Secretary General. Despite efforts by the CEC to persuade him to return, Mr. Chiam set conditions deemed undemocratic by the committee, such as having sole authority to appoint and dismiss CEC members and cadre members. These demands were against the party's democratic principles and constitution, leading to an impasse. So the story is really quite long. I don't think I want to refinish it, but there was actually a fallout between Dr. Chee and Mr. Chiam See Tong. And this becomes a rather famous subject of public discourse. So so perhaps we just for the sake of Bazi learning, we will look at Mr. Chiam See Tong birth chart. Mr. Chiam See Tong, as regarded by Mr. Lee Kuan Yew, a gentleman, right, whom Mr. Lee Kuan Yew also respect, was born in the. All right, let me plot his birth chart for you guys quickly. He was born in the year 1935. And the month of March the 12th. Of course, I don't have his time of birth, but let's study his chart together. So we can see Mr. Chiam See Tong's chart is of a Ding fire. And there is actually this high water at his earth branches being paired with Mao. It is a very unique chart in the sense that this high is giving him authority at the same time serving as the resource to support the resource factor. What in Chinese we call the 官印上升是一个好的格局它是一个做官的命通常这种官印上升的人呢，都比较他们的那个有权利Perhaps I will also take a look at his milestone in terms of political career. So, Mr. Chiam See Tong, perhaps I will also teach you what is 官印上升 first. So, right, he is actually having this 官印上升格局. I'm just waiting for the iPad to respond, so we'll drink some tomato juice first. Okay. 官印上升. In English, it means that the direct officer, I will just write DO, right? Direct officer, right? I will write an arrow so that it's not so. Okay, yin is resource. Together, right? This is together, or they bring about enhancement. Yeah, this is enhancement. So, what in theory, what it is saying is that Mr. Chiam See Tong is of the Ding Fire Day Master, right? So there are two factors in his chart that is very serving as a very classic case for 官印上升. He's of a Ding and sitting on high. Perhaps I will just take a quick look. 丁亥己卯乙亥，己卯乙亥. Let's look at his day master. He is of a Ding Fire day master. And in terms of the Shi Shen relationship, the 10 gods relationship, Hai itself is his, Ding is of a Yin fire, right? And Hai, of course, is of a Yin water, right? Yeah. So this is his 7 killing. But of course, within Ren, within this Hai, we have Ren and Jia. So just I know it's a little bit confusing already for the beginners, but we always remember within the Earth branch there are still hidden stems. All right, there are still hidden stems. So likewise, within this Hai here, there are Ren and Jia. And given that he is a Ding Fire Day Master, what will be needed to support him? Will, of course, is the wood element, which is this Jia wood here. This Jia wood here will fuel his Ding Fire Day Master. That's why it is a Bazi cycle of water generating wood and wood generating fire. Right? This is the energy movement of his Bazi chart. And that is exactly what we mean by direct officer enhancing resource and subsequently together enhancing the day master. 观应上升. Are you able to understand? I know it's a little bit confusing, but if you are familiar with Bazi, you should be able to understand what I mean. 观应上升, this very interesting kind of Bazi relationship, and usually is a good chart for politician. So, Mr. Chiam See Tong, he founded the Singapore Democratic Party in 1980. 1980 is whereby he is at this Jia Wood, at this Jia Wood 5-year period. So, given that he is likely to be one that is having weak day master, right? Likely to be because water is still one that belonging to the direct officer. That's the reason why he's still likely to be a weak day master. So yeah, that's the reason why he was able to successfully enter into politics during this period of time. He kind of retired in 2011, right? He gradually stepped down from active politics after 2011. That is when he has entered into this Wei decade, 2011. And that is exactly where we see Wei is in an earth element that will exhaust him. And he also began to have health issues during that time. If you guys remember, he actually looked quite weak physically during that time of his retirement. So will Chiam See Tong actually have a beneficial or mutually beneficial relationship with Dr. Chee Soon Juan? I will say not so, because Dr. Chee Soon Juan, as I mentioned, is one that is of a strong Earth Day Master, and regardless how the development of the decade trend of Mr. Chiam See Tong, he's still of a Ding Fire Day Master. That's why they will not be able to click. In a sense, they will not be able to work closely together in the long run. And that is also how we judge the compatibility in terms of working relationship. I know you guys maybe look at me in a blur, perhaps I will just write it down. So if you remember, all right, Dr. Chee, he is actually having a Zi up that is strong, right? So I'm just waiting for the iPad to respond. If you remember, Dr. Chee is of the Zi up that is strong. 它是子土圣旺的一个命格啊。那这个是 Dr. Chee 了啊。I will just write Chee. And Chiam See Tong is of a Ding Fire. And this is Chiam. So given that, as I mentioned, Dr. Chee is of a strong Zi, Ding fire will continue to make Dr. Chee's chart to be stronger. So I don't think they will be able to work together. Okay, and you know, Mr. Chiam See Tong, he's of a weak Ding fire day master, and this will actually exhaust him. Right, it's a share relationship or exhaust relationship. Okay, so they will not work together harmoniously. So, well, eventually they also separated their ways, and so the question is whether Dr. Chee Soon Juan will win the 2025 election. I will say no. I don't think so. So I will open up his birth chart and tell you why. So Dr. Chee, as I mentioned, he has day master that's strong, right? Looking at his current decade or the coming 5-year period is actually of this, or his current decade 5-year period is of the Chou. Chou is exactly Bijian. Bijian means his companion factor. So it is not likely that this year, next year, or the 2027 will be his positive years. So my take on his general election performance is he will have a very difficult chance of being elected. And what is his the other candidate from PAP, Chee Soon Juan is facing who? Let me check quickly, all right? Facing which PAP candidate? In this Sembawang, right? This year he actually wanted to fight for the seat of Sembawang. So let us take a look at his so-called opponent, right? So-called opponent. Let me see if I can find the information. As of now, the People's Action Party has not officially announced its candidate for Sembawang West. However, during a recent walkabout, Dr. Chee encountered Miss Po Lee Said, a current PAP member of parliament for Sembawang GRC, suggesting she may be the PAP's candidate for this newly formed constituency. So let's take a look at, see if I can find Po Lee Sing date of birth. May not be able to find because not all their date of birth is on the internet, but I will try my best. So we will also take a look at this PAP candidate by the name of Police, and unfortunately, her exact date of birth is not publicly disclosed. So I'm sorry, I cannot do a calculation on Police, and from a Bazi perspective, we will not be able to generate any information because her date of birth is missing. So, but still, right, looking further, if we are to look at Dr. Chee Soon Juan, years from 67 onwards, they are actually very strong wood element. And for his chart, wood actually represents authority. So will he actually be able to hold some kind of important political position from 2028 onwards? That will really depend on his time of birth. But the time of birth is also a missing piece in our analysis. We don't have his time of birth. Let's say if his time of birth is having a lot of fire element, then it will bring about negative development for his life from 67 years old onwards, all the way to the end of his life. But let's say the time of birth is one that is having a lot of metal and water, then will bring about a balance to his chart. And this Jia and Yin may be able to help him to go into politics to serve, or hold a position like being in the parliament. But ultimately, we don't have his time of birth, so it is very difficult to tell. But nonetheless, I still think that it is really not necessary that you need to go into prison voluntarily to prove a point. I don't know why, but from a Bazi perspective, we can see why. He is definitely someone that is very extreme. And Yes, so it's still, it's still a very good example for us to learn, by looking at our own birth chart to see if we have an extreme kind of personality or due to the chart characteristics like him, then we have to learn to be more balanced, and that will bring about more positive developments in our life. So that's my sharing for today. Thank you all for watching. For your information, in the month of April, I will be starting a Bazi course to teach my students Bazi reading, especially one that will focus on the time gods relationship. If you have found today's sharing to be interesting and you want to find out more about Bazi reading, which after learning will definitely help your life, I encourage you to sign up for this course. It will help you to have a new perspective, how you look at yourself, how to understand yourself better, and how to plan for the future. So if you are interested to sign up, do WhatsApp me in the number that is listed at the caption. And thank you all once again for being here tonight. Hopefully today's sharing has been able to help you to understand Bazi better. This is Master Jason, and if you want to come for consultation, you can always contact me at the same number also. So I will see you in the next live video. Thank you very much for watching and wishing you a beautiful evening. Bye bye.